So the Fever do take down the Connecticut Sun, but the big news is that it looks like Caitlin Clark is injured.
So NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has addressed that report that some NBA owners are frustrated with the financials of the WNBA and the lack of return, especially as the league grows. And here's the thing, that initial report probably needs some context. I don't think it's surprising that the WNBA...
Adam Silver just turned into the Hulk, but with a suit and a press badge. Caitlin Clark's out of the All-Star Game with a groin injury, and suddenly the WNBA's big night is looking more like a high school talent show. Silver's not mad. He's disappointed, which is somehow worse. Did he just threaten to cancel halftime or move the game to a YMCA? Stick around, because this meltdown might just be more entertaining than the game itself.
Well, shit. We have some really disappointing WNBA injury update. Caitlin Clark is officially ruled out for all events of the All-Star Weekend. She did say, don't worry, she's still going to be at Gamebridge. She's still going to be around. She's still going to be making her appearances, signing for the fans, everything she can do to make this a great event. But unfortunately, that groin is still bothering her, and it's the right groin now. We saw her get injured the other night. It was the left groin previously. She did release a really nice statement about it, so I'll go ahead and show you. I'm so excited for Indy to host WNBA All-Star Weekend. I want to thank Indianapolis Host Committee and all the people that have put endless work over the past year to put this event together.
Caitlin Clark played basketball for 20 years, 2 whole decades of squeaky sneakers, buzzer beaters, and making defenders question their career choices. She faced double teams in middle school, full court presses in high school, and schemes that would make NASA blush in college. And she handled it all like a pro. But now, in the professional league, suddenly she's getting slammed like it's roller derby, and the referees are legally blind interns on a sugar crash.
So there is some really scary, sad, I don't know, it might be earth-shattering to some news. It looks like Caitlin Clark did get injured again in her right groin this time. The previous groin injury was her left groin, and it is not looking good because groins are an injury that do take quite a while to actually fully heal. According to Jesse Moore, MD, he is a regenerative medicine doctor. He does specialize in sports, and this is what he said about Caitlin Clark's injury. Clark appears to have re-aggravated her right abductor groin strain.
4 injuries in less than 2 seasons. Not 4 bruises, 4 actual injuries. That's not a coincidence. That's a hit list. Caitlin didn't walk into the WNBA and get welcomed with a handshake. She got greeted with elbows, body checks, and defense strategies pulled straight from a WWE playbook. Apparently, when you're the biggest draw since sliced bread and the only one putting butts in seats, you're also the biggest target. Imagine training for 20 years only to be treated like a piñata by people who couldn't beat you with a cheat code.
We've now seen, and we'll take a look, her brother called out the refs last night. We have watched Caitlin Clark get the ever-loving crap kicked out of her for, let me look it down here, looks like about 15 months now, 16 months. And they are about to find out, because I can only imagine how many people now won't tune in to the three-point contest, that won't tune in to the All-Star Game.
And here's where the comedy turns tragic. The league's brain trust is either asleep at the wheel or too busy scripting feel-good montages about unity and growth to notice that their biggest star is limping off the court. Again, how does someone go from virtually indestructible to consistently injured in the span of one rookie contract? Here's a clue. It's not random. This isn't a freak accident montage. This is open season on the player who's single-handedly dragging the league into relevance.
The WNBA players reveal under their warm-ups t-shirts a statement to the WNBA. Pay us what you owe us. Statement is being made. You got Caitlin Clark rocking the shirt. So obviously she is in full support. She's going full throttle with the players in these CBA negotiations, trying to get more money, more benefits, etc. This is interesting, guys.
And yet, every time she gets clobbered, someone manages to drag Angel Reese's name into the conversation like it's mandatory. Is there a quota, a memo, some invisible teleprompter whispering, and now mention Reese so no one notices Caitlin's being assaulted? It's baffling. Caitlin could sprain her ankle tripping over a water bottle, and somehow it would circle back to a Reese highlight reel. It's like WNBA commentary has a Reese Tourette setting. Clark gets hurt, talk about Reese. Clark scores 30, cut to Reese on the bench. Is it basketball or a bizarre rom-com rivalry where the plot is made up and the injuries are real? Meanwhile, Adam Silver is sitting courtside like he just realized he bought a ticket to a demolition derby instead of a basketball game. He's not just frustrated, he's going through the 5 stages of grief. Because deep down, the man knows. He knows the WNBA wasn't built for a player like Caitlin. It wasn't ready. The league is used to clunky offense, 60-point games, and referees who call fouls with the enthusiasm of someone checking expiration dates. Now here comes Clark. Slick, fast, crowd magnet Clark. And suddenly, the league's flaws are under a microscope. And under that microscope, carnage.
The effect it has had on the ticket price, the price of the ticket has dropped over 50%. Basically today in Indiana, if you'd like to go to the All-Star Game, it's only cost you $64. Caitlin Clark can stop a supply chain all by herself. The projection of revenue, the 26% of the revenue that's generated by Caitlin Clark in the state of Indiana. Now, all of the goods and services that...
What's happening isn't basketball. It's a slow-motion self-sabotage with a soundtrack of whistles that arrive 3 seconds too late, if they arrive at all. The refs might as well be betting on the games with how little they seem to care. Opponents are playing bumper cars out there. Hip checks, shoulder smashes, flying forearms like it's open gym at Rikers. Caitlin's not just getting defended, she's getting mugged. Like the WNBA is allergic to admitting they've got a serious problem on their hands. Newsflash, when your top player is getting hunted on national television and you pretend it's competitive spirit, you're not building the league. You're burning it from the inside. Caitlin Clark didn't get injured 4 times because she's fragile. She got injured 4 times because she's a magnet for envy, aggression, and outdated refereeing, and no one's doing a thing about it.
You know, I don't want to make too big an issue about one particular player, one particular call, but I think the burgeoning rivalries in professional basketball, you see rivalries obviously among clubs, but also among individual players too.
And let's not pretend this is some isolated series of events. This is systematic. You don't rack up this many injuries in such a short time from bad luck. You rack them up when you're being fouled harder than anyone else in the league, and the people in charge keep swallowing the whistle like it's dessert. The game isn't failing Caitlin, it's sabotaging her, and all the glossy marketing campaigns in the world won't fix that. But here's the kicker. Every time the conversation starts leaning into the truth that Caitlin's being targeted and the league's letting it happen, someone, somewhere, raises their hand and says, "But Angel Reese," as if that's a counter-argument, as if we can't possibly talk about Clark getting hacked without first updating Reese's stat line. What's next? Blaming Clark's groin injury on Reese's lashes? The obsession is next-level delusional. Caitlin could be out for a month, and the narrative would still twist itself into a pretzel trying to make it about growth or rivalries or how other players are just as important. Here's a reality check. Nobody's buying tickets to see a bench full of just as important. They're showing up because Caitlin Clark is a once-in-a-generation talent being treated like she borrowed the spotlight instead of owning it.
Caitlin Clark has received a lot of heat from the players. So this actually says a lot about her, the fact that she's still willing to stand with these players and try to help get what they want. The players do want more money, and I would like to see everybody get paid. I'm never going to be someone to hate on somebody, getting their bread. So I'm not against the players getting paid more. They're taking a stand. This is going to be interesting, man. I was on the fence about how involved Caitlin would be. I know as far as I felt like she kind of should have been hands off, but, just because of all of the negativity that, bro, you got to understand, from the refs to Kathy to the players who they've called all of her fans racist.
The real story isn't the injury. It's the culture. A league where petty egos, reckless fouls, and silent whistles are somehow more tolerated than acknowledging that one player is the engine driving the whole machine. A machine that looks real broken when that engine's limping into the locker room. Again. So go ahead. Keep pretending this is normal. Keep calling it toughness and grit. Keep dragging the conversation into weird detours about rivalries and learning curves. Because while the league's too busy trying to act like everything's fine, the fans aren't blind. They see what's going on. They see the difference between hard-nosed defense and cheap shots disguised as effort. They see who's making the game better and who's doing everything they can to stop it. And eventually, the league's going to have to answer for it. Not just to Caitlin Clark, but to everyone who bought a ticket, tuned in, or dared to believe that maybe, just maybe, women's basketball had finally turned the corner. Turns out that corner was a trap. And right now, it's Caitlin Clark who's paying the price, while the league pretends it's all just part of the game. And Christy Engbutt, yes, the woman supposedly steering this league, is quite possibly the worst communicator this side of a dial-up modem. If leadership were a basketball game, she's dribbling the ball off her foot while yelling, "We're growing the game," into a paper cup connected to nothing.
I'm incredibly sad and disappointed I can't participate in the three-point contest or the All-Star Game. I have to rest my body. I will still be at Gainbridge Fieldhouse for all the action. I'm looking forward to helping Sandy coach our team to a win, and you know she will. Can't wait to see you all out there. So obviously this is disappointing. However, she's absolutely correct. She has to rest her body. This one game, this one event, even though it is a big event, is so small over the course of her career. And what this injury, like if she re-injures it or further strains it, or heaven forbid it's like a tear or something, she just has to rest. Her first goal is to win a WNBA championship, and she can't do that if she re-injures it or further injures it here.
The league's biggest star gets kneed in the groin again, and Engbutt is somewhere hosting a growth and grit seminar totally unfazed, like this is just part of some grand initiation ritual. Spoiler alert, it's not. This isn't a welcome to the league moment. It's a lawsuit waiting to happen with a side of career-altering damage. Caitlin Clark didn't aggravate her groin injury from overuse or stretching wrong. She didn't tweak it tying her shoes. She was kneed directly and with intent in an area that even hockey players would call a low blow. And guess what the refs did? Absolutely nothing. Again. Because apparently targeting Caitlin Clark is the one WNBA tradition that doesn't get rebranded. At this point, she might as well wear a bullseye and a kick me sign to save time. Let's be crystal clear. The league's silence on this is not neutrality. It's negligence. Caitlin Clark is getting mauled on the court more often than a crash test dummy, and the league's response is to send out another PR puff piece about diversity, hustle, and celebrating physicality. Physicality? This isn't physical. This is criminal with a Nike logo. And Christy Engbutt, with her warm, fuzzy nothing statements, is acting like Caitlin just needs a protein shake and a pep talk. What Caitlin Clark needs is actual protection. She needs referees who can identify a foul when it happens 5 feet in front of them. She needs a commissioner who understands that being popular isn't an open invitation to be assaulted every other game. She needs someone, anyone in authority, who treats her like a professional athlete instead of a piñata at a league-sponsored birthday bash.
Caitlin Clark looks like she re-aggravated the groin injury that has cost her so many games, and now the league is about to find out. The referee situation in this league is unimaginable. It's an abomination. And because Kathy Engelberg, who just a few weeks ago came out and said the referee situation, the officiating is just fine. Well, we saw Caitlin Clark crash out last night over the refs.
So here's an idea. Maybe it's time Caitlin Clark pulls the emergency brake. Maybe she takes the power back and informs the league that she's sitting out the rest of the season until Christy Engbutt packs up her inspirational LinkedIn quotes and hands in her league badge. Because clearly, nothing changes unless the league's bottom line is threatened. And nothing threatens the WNBA's bottom line more than its golden ticket walking away and refusing to be a prop in their growth illusion. Can you imagine the chaos, the boardroom panic, the emergency Zoom calls, ESPN anchors fumbling through euphemisms like player empowerment, while the league scrambles to find someone, anyone, who can pull half the numbers Caitlin Clark generates by existing? Suddenly, it's not just about a groin injury anymore. It's about the commissioner who let it happen. Again and again and again. We're not talking about one fluke injury. This is a pattern, and in any other league, when your marquee star is being physically targeted and publicly battered without recourse, heads roll. In the WNBA, they hand out free Reese posters and pretend the problem is tough defense. It's the same energy as watching your house burn down and responding by handing out marshmallows. There's no universe in which this level of repeated assault would be tolerated if the roles were reversed. If Caitlin Clark were doing the kneeing, if she was the one delivering below-the-belt shots like it was Mortal Kombat, she'd be ejected, fined, and forced to write a public apology essay with footnotes. But because she's the one getting clobbered, the league's answer is nothing. No review, no foul, not even a fake investigation. Just the usual empty, we support all players fluff posted in Canva font.
Caitlin Clark, the MVP of today's All-Star Game, is not playing. That's right. Caitlin Clark, the MVP of today's All-Star Game, is not playing. The WNBA players know how to throw a party, and they know how to do it well. And now it's time, as the WNBA, they're going to take the court tonight, and we got to figure out who's going to be the MVP.
And it's not like Christy Engbutt is unaware. Oh no, she's not oblivious. She's just exquisitely good at being ineffective. Her brand of leadership is the kind you find in a group project where one person insists they're managing things while everyone else is doing CPR on a dying presentation. The league is hemorrhaging credibility, and she's out here tweeting "great game today" like she just discovered hashtags. Caitlin Clark doesn't need fake smiles and empty words. She needs action. She needs someone willing to admit that the product is broken, that there's an environment in the WNBA right now that is not just hostile, but dangerous. And the only person with the actual authority to fix it is too busy trying to balance political correctness with franchise damage control. So really, what's the alternative? Let Caitlin play through another dozen games while defenders try to extract her spleen one possession at a time? Pretend it's just rookie hazing when she gets elbowed in the throat again? Sorry, but growing pains don't usually involve ice packs and orthopedic consultations. This isn't development. This is demolition. If the WNBA truly cared about long-term sustainability, they'd have taken swift, visible action the first time this happened. But because Christy Engbutt runs the league like a part-time HR department in denial, we're now at the point where the best option is for the league's most valuable asset to stage a sit-out. Not for attention, not for leverage, but for safety, for self-preservation. Because apparently the league won't protect her, so she has to protect herself.
It's called the All-Star Game and not All Stars. As you guys know, there's only one star in the WNBA, and it is highly likely that she is going to be missing the All-Star Game that's being hosted in her home city, which means these other so-called stars in the WNBA, they're going to be expected to achieve the impossible and actually sell tickets. We know the Rue from Waterloo is injured, but do not be discouraged. The WNBA is proud to showcase our elite star.
And let's be honest, Caitlin Clark taking a stand like that would send shockwaves. It would expose the spin, the sugarcoating, the performative, we value all our players nonsense that falls apart the moment one of them actually needs help. She wouldn't just be demanding accountability, she'd be holding up a mirror to the entire league and saying, "Fix this, or I'm out." And the truth is, they can't afford to lose her. Not even for a week. Not with ticket sales, ratings, and every corporate sponsorship orbiting her presence. She is the economy of the WNBA. So if she walks, the illusion collapses. And maybe that's what needs to happen. Maybe Caitlin Clark going on strike is the only thing that finally forces the league to confront what it's become. A place where talent is punished, not protected. Where silence is louder than action, where the commissioner communicates in emojis while Rome burns. So yes, if Christy Engbutt can't do her job, if she can't see the glaring emergency playing out in front of millions, then maybe Caitlin Clark should force the issue. No more half-hearted reforms. No more empty promises. Just a simple ultimatum. Protect your players or find a new job. Because this isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about integrity, safety, leadership. And right now, the only person actually showing any of that is the one with ice packs on her hip and a target on her back.